Welcome to Hope and Resiliency. This is the Laurel Center's Survivor Art Show. It's put on during April Sexual Assault Awareness Month. In the United States, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience sexual violence at some point during their lifetime. In 80% of these sexual assault cases, the victim knew their perpetrator intimately. We at the Laurel Center serve survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence every day, from therapy to counseling. We provide shelter. We run a 24-hour hotline, as well as many, many other services. We also hold prevention services, such as teaching young people about consent and healthy relationships, working with churches to build policies around child sexual abuse, working with community partners to teach bystander intervention, and our local community colleges to inform people about sexual assault and how to keep themselves safe. One of the many ways that we help survivors work through, process their emotions is through art. This colorful mask was created by a survivor who was just 6 years old. This mask with the black hand over its mouth reads that 63% of sexual assaults are not reported to the police. It represents the silencing of survivors and the amount that many survivors feel like if they bring their concerns forward, they won't receive justice. This piece of art was done by a survivor. On the canvas is written, "My trauma makes me feel like the white elephant in the room. If I am to be the elephant in the room, then I shall choose the color."
I love this piece of art by Survivor. With that, she says, sometimes with healing, you feel the presence of others around. The other times you feel lonely, even so, you are never alone. One of our artists last year from our art show gave to us this stained glass with the words hope in the middle with a teal ribbon that represents Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Sexual violence doesn't discriminate. It impacts people of every demographic, including people in the LGBTQ community. According to the Centers of Disease Control, the LGBTQ community is at equal or higher risk than heterosexuals to experience sexual violence. Around 50% of trans individuals will experience sexual violence at some point in their lifetime.
This broken pieces artwork represents the impact of sexual violence on someone's life when you become broken apart and then rebuilt together into something beautiful through the healing process.
This one is all about prevention. Just ask for consent. No means no. Do not take drugs and alcohol. It's my body, not yours. So these jeans pretty much is all about consent. These jeans here were made by one of my coworkers, and what she wanted to show is that we are here to support you. You just have to ask for help, and we will listen, we'll believe you, we'll encourage you to move forward. This one to me was the whole healing process. We all are looking for love. That's what we want. When a rape happens, we're devastated and confused, angry. We don't know what to do. And all of a sudden, it becomes sadness. When we go through pain and suffering or trauma, sometimes we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But what I wanted to do is these blood drops become teardrops, and then eventually becomes rain. And the rain are feeding the flowers. This particular flower symbolizes a new beginning. So this is the whole process that someone can experience, from the time of rape to time of healing. This one is also about consent. We have a terminology that we call relationship red flags, green flags. If we're in a relationship where we see red flags, we recommend that you evaluate your relationship and think about how this person is treating you. Is this person blaming you? Is there abuse? Do they exercise power and control over you? Do they come up with lies? What we want out of a relationship is trust, respect, peace, equality, and of course, love. This is also the process of from the trauma to the healing. Here, I mentioned that every 2 minutes somewhere in the US, someone is sexually assaulted. We go through phases of disbelief, pain, even we become anger. There's a lot of crying. Our hearts are broken. And this is when we ask for help. In order to recover, we need to transform ourselves. This is a symbol of transformation and resiliency. Once we go through that process, we can be ourselves again. The ribbon symbolizes sexual assault, and it tells you that I am a survivor.
I hope that people take away a renewed sense of urgency to do their part in preventing sexual violence. In this work, nobody has to do everything, but everyone has to do something. And my hope is that through viewing these pieces, getting a glimpse into the world that these people are living in, people will feel called to and motivated to do their part to end sexual violence forever.
On behalf of the Laurel Center, we thank you for participating in this virtual